So do you want to give us a rundown on what's been happening the last few days?
Yeah, so we came up. We've just sort of been doing a few different group activities. We did a little bit of paintballing and had a pretty tough beach session on Thursday morning. But it's been really just to get to know each other, and a bit of an amazing race style thing yesterday. So it's been good to get up here and just put the feet up. I've only been back at training for a couple of weeks, but the boys that have been back for 4 or 5 weeks, it was a good opportunity just to get away and spend some valuable time together as a group. And now that the list is complete for 2015 season, it was a really good opportunity.
Massive changes over the course of 2 years. It's almost like, well, it's more than half a new list, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of staff turnover as well throughout the coaching ranks. Obviously, Lep has come on and he's brought in his team a little bit as well. So I think the footy club's heading in the right direction. We're not obviously going to skyrocket up the ladder, and that's not the aim. We want to really build on last year and the way we finished, and start to take our game to another level next year. And we think we've added a little bit of depth. But the most important thing this time of year is to get through to Christmas fit and healthy, and then you start to really build from there.
You said it was sort of nice to put your feet up, but this has hardly been relaxing.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been. It's been a pretty full-on camp, and I think that's the way it's been designed as well. So you want to take your foot off the pedal a little bit in this week, but obviously you can't take it all the way off. So it was, as I said, it's been a really good opportunity to spend time together as a group away. There's been sort of limitations on phone use and so on, so it's really opened up the conversations, and it's been really good to get to know the young boys and where they've come from and their story as well.
How are they settling in? Are they a good fit?
Yeah, well, there's only been a couple of them only been here 2 days, and a few have been here 3 or 4 days, but they all seem to be getting on really well. They've fitted into the group really well. Obviously, when you first get here, you're really quiet and just sort of sit back and see how it goes. But it has been good to have a little bit of one-on-one time with them at different stages, and just have a coffee and chat about them. And their families have come up now as well, so we'll have a big dinner tonight with all their families and stuff, to make them really feel welcome. So it's a good initiative by the footy club, and from all the way down, from the top down the bottom. So it is the right thing to do and the right way to go about it.
When do we find out about captaincy?
I'm not too sure. I think Jed Adcock's done an outstanding job for a couple of years, so I think we'll touch on that in the new year and go from there.
Something you still want to stay involved in, though?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to lead the Brisbane Lions and so on, and I think the way I go about it, and my biggest thing is putting the team first, and there's no point going out there and playing good footy individually and sitting 15th, 16th on the ladder. No one wants to do that. That's not the reason you play footy. So obviously we can build on that, and we need young leaders to come through as well, and the biggest thing for us is going to be how well our second and third year and first year players really come on and drive the older boys, and with that we've got a bit more depth now, so it puts pressure on everyone else to perform.
Just on that, like Beans, Christensen, Robinson, I mean, sort of enough said there in terms of quality. Do you feel like you're going to have to lift your game to another level to sort of play as much midfield as you have? Yeah,
you've always got to continue to improve your game. I think if you stop and if you get complacent with how you perform, then you're going to get eaten up and spat out. That's the industry, and that's the way the world we live in these days. So it is good. It puts pressure on everyone else, and it also makes everyone on edge a little bit, makes training a lot more competitive, and everyone wants to play round one. So obviously we're a fair way away from that, but in saying that, you can see it at training, and the boys are a little bit competitive, and everyone's fighting for those last final 22 spots for round one.
And you said you don't expect to skyrocket up the ladder, but I think there's a bit of an expectation in Melbourne that if you guys sort of get your act together, that a fair bit's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we keep our top 30 odd players on the list fit and healthy, then we're going to be in games for long periods of time, and then if we get tested and we can bring in young kids, and you've seen last year how well they performed, and we blooded so many kids last year, and they all performed when we asked them to, and they played their role. So if we can get 22 contributors every week and everyone playing their role, then we're going to be in games for a long period of time. And I think we might surprise a few oppositions throughout the season, and we want to continue to build on what we think can be a really special time for Brisbane Lions.
We know the depth of your midfield. Where I guess the question mark is where you get goals from. Are you confident you can pick enough goals?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got some really good small forwards, and we've got some key forwards that are starting to come on now, and Steph Martin, Matty Leuenberger will obviously be back next year, so one of them might be able to rest deep. But also there'll be probably a midfield rotation, so whether it be myself, Dane Beams, Reddo, Sam Mays. We've seen Sam Mays in the first few weeks last year was our leading goal kicker, kicking 3 or 4 goals a week early on. So I think if you continue to put footy inside 50, you're going to give yourself an opportunity to score. So if we can keep the footy in our front half, our midfield's good enough to do that now. We can lock the ball inside 50, then we give ourselves an opportunity to kick a score.
Just on the race around the world stuff, we were told about
around Noosa, the world.
Well,
The amazing race. I'm only stirring.
The eating challenge or whatever it was called. Well, tell us about that, because it didn't sound very
I actually got out of it all right. The one I pulled up was the spew fruit or spew yogurt or something, and it didn't taste too bad at all. But there was a few of them that I don't know if I could have stomached the cow's tongue and the sheep's heart, I think it was, and a few of them. But the boys sucked it up and put them in the gob, and the yellow team was lucky enough to walk away with a pretty convincing win in the end. So it was a bit dry reachy there, and then we had to go and eat lunch after it. So the timing wasn't ideal, but the boys got through it. So it was really good. It was a good day, and it's something that you don't get to do very often.
Eat cow's tongue.
Oh well, the amazing race around Noosa sort of thing, and you get to mix a little bit with the community as well, and that's really important for us, especially being a Queensland footy club and getting up to Noosa. We want to engage the community up here, and we think it was a really good opportunity yesterday, and we think we got plenty out of it.
Just one on the international audience. Did you pick anyone's brain there, or what did you take out of it?
Yeah, you just sit back and listen. I sort of felt like I was a young fella again, and walking into a room, it's like a first year player probably feels intimidated coming in this room. There were superstars everywhere, and then me, so I was sort of felt a little bit out of place at times. But you just sort of sit back and listen, and you listen to the stories of yesteryear and what they've done and how they prepare and how they go about it. So it was really good, and you got opportunities to listen how different people prepare, and obviously Travis Boak prepares differently to the way Steve Johnson prepares to Luke Hodge. So it's just about a balancing act. You've got to find out what works for you, but also you can pick their brains and get things from them. But it was just an amazing experience to go away with a group like that and spend the week away with them.
Is it something you'd like to do again?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if the opportunity arose again, I think they're talking about going to New York as well. So any opportunity you get to do that, it wouldn't matter where you went. It wouldn't matter if you went to down the coast or whatever it was, but to spend time with the elite of the elite in the AFL, the benefits you can get from that, and hopefully I can bring that back to our footy club and really get the boys up and about. So we do want to succeed and do want to move forward, and hopefully we can get a few boys up in there and get a few more All-Australians next year, and then really build on the strong culture that we've got going at the moment.
Any words of advice that really stuck with you?
From those, it's sort of a little bit hard because those boys are in off-season as well, but Alistair Clarkson was really good, the way he the professionalism that he shows, and the way he coached a group and had the boys in line. So it's all just, everything just runs smoothly when you've got a group like that. I think the punctuality and stuff like that, everyone's on time or 5 minutes before, everything just runs smoothly. So that's the most important thing, and that's what you've got to instill in our culture, and you just want everything to run smoothly. And if that's the go, you go out on a weekend and you know you've done everything during the week to go out there to prepare for the big game, and hopefully we can do that and continue to build until that final day in September, when we get our opportunity, and hopefully we can one day with the group we've got.
Any guys in that group you think are potential Australians?
In our group? Yeah, we've got, absolutely. We've got, obviously, Pierce Hanley was knocking on the door last year. Stephen Martin plays a full season. Richie's obviously booming left foot, Jack Redden. So there's plenty. Matty Leuenberger, Dane Zorko. There's numerous blokes that can throw their hand up, and a little bit at times I think we're out of sight, out of mind, so we can get forgotten about a little bit. But Lewis Taylor obviously had a good year, so there's hopefully superstars everywhere on our list that are just coming through and just starting to forge our careers together, and we are in that age bracket where we're starting to build together from about 25 down to 20. So if we can stay together for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and as I said, I think there is some exciting times around the corner, and that's the main focus for us. I don't think we go out there and say, oh, we want individual awards or we want anything like that. We want to go out there and we want to have team success, and that's the most impressive thing about this group at the moment. Everyone's buying in and everyone wants team success for the Brisbane Lions Footy Club.